it's a sound quality, not you, right?
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
No. Jesus. What is that?
Well, Thanksgiving.
Oh, that did not sound like a turkey.
Yeah. It does. It's totally like a turkey. Yeah, it's turkey.
Well, now that I know it's a turkey, otherwise, what the hell is that noise problem?
There we go.
It comes across pretty shrieky.
Okay, welcome to the 215th episode of the Legion of Reason Diversion. Coming to you live on YouTube. And what have we got today? Shaun King, a noted activist, claims that whiteness protects against the terrorism label being applied. Ran out of air. I've got one thing to say to that. Timothy McVeigh. Mic drop. Anyway, I don't want to drop my mic. It's expensive. In London, UK, commuters panic upon hearing Bible verses at a train platform. Smudging ceremonies in Regina public schools. They're getting ready to do that. Do we really need schools, accommodating all religions, or should we just say screw it? The U.S. votes against a UN resolution which condemns the death penalty for blasphemy and homosexuality. And locally here, a candidate for Calgry school trustee in the upcoming civic elections blames the Edmonton terror attack on the LGBT community. Anti-choice Conservative MP Rachel Harder fails to win her bid to chair the Status of Women House Committee. Okay. And in the Regressive Left Files, Bruce Gilley's controversial paper published in Third World Quarterly titled "The Case for Colonialism" has been withdrawn by the publisher Taylor and Francis due to threats of violence upon his person. Yeah. We're now violence is becoming... you can't call it the heckler's veto anymore. It's worse.
Yeah.
The mob mentality. Just thugs. I hope they find out who it was and prosecute them.
That's true. Yeah.
Serious. That's serious. This is not what we need in discourse. If you don't agree with it, say something, okay? But use, your words.
Yeah. Death threats. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Well, I guess it's not unbelievable. It seems to happen a lot.
Today,
but
unbelievable. This is where social justice has gone. Yeah. Well, it's gone from not to let's punch out professors whose ideas we don't agree with.
Yeah.
But anyway, first one. I'm going to try screen share here. Where's my screen share? I got to keep close to the mic, I guess. Screen share.
I'm watching on YouTube as well.
Yeah. Okay. So you keep an eye out on the chat. Good.
Yep. And do you have the banner or something for the call-in number?
Not yet. I don't want to take calls at
okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
We'll be taking calls, yes, and you can either Skype us or use your phone. It's toll free, and also there's the chat room if you don't like to hear the sound of your own voice. But if you call in, but Skype or with using a phone, make sure you turn down your volume of the stream.
Yeah.
Confused if you don't. Okay, so the first thing we got, it was that whole thing with. Let's see if I can find it here. Nope, that's different.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the article by Shaun King.
I've called everything up, so I can probably send you the link in a moment here.
No, I've got it up. I just have to actually.
Oh, display. Okay, yeah.
Which one it is? It like 30 windows open or something?
I know. I hear you.
Here it is. Yeah, The Intercept by Shaun King, and.
Oh yeah. Here it is. Yeah.
What happened in Las Vegas? Of course, this happened actually while we were recording the podcast last weekend. And was it last weekend? No, it was.
Yes. it was last weekend. Yeah.
World disorder. It's a terrible incident, but I've lost complete confidence that the U.S. is ever going to be ready to do anything about the gun culture that is America. And yeah, I just don't see it. If it hasn't happened by now with so many mass murders, this is just one more.
I don't know. Like, wasn't it reported that the NRA was even saying, okay, maybe we need to do some members,
but not the.
Oh, okay.
Maybe some members.
Okay.
They're
yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in Canada, so I have a different perspective of guns. We don't have the, amendment or whatever to.
It's a
to permit us that.
Yeah.
But like, we do have guns here. We have control of them.
Yes. Well, Canada has.
So there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
You could still own a rifle, just have to be properly registered and
stored. You have to store it properly too.
Yeah. Handguns, one purpose for handguns, that's to kill somebody else.
Yeah.
You can still own handguns. It's just that they're very stringent. You can't have those have to be put in vault.
Yeah. Well, I think the rifles do too, if I'm not mistaken.
They have to be locked up. I don't know about a vault.
Okay. Yeah, because my dad's got someone, he bought something from Canadian Tire or whatever, some kind of thing to lock them up, basically.
Yeah, so. I don't want to go down the road of talking about gun control because that's.
Yeah, I do hope something changes, though.
Sure.
Yeah,
but I don't expect there to be any change. If it hasn't happened, I know it won't happen. But anyway.
Yeah, Sandy Hook didn't do it. Wow.
Yeah, this guy Shaun King wrote a. I don't know. It's called The Intercept. I have no idea what that is, but it's some kind of a. It looks like almost like a blog. But anyway,
that's a media outlet of some sort.
Is it? Yeah, he has a fair bit of association with Black Lives Matter, for instance.
Yeah, I think he's. I looked at the bio, and I think he's like a host on the Young Turks and a bunch of stuff like that, right?
I wouldn't know. I don't watch them.
No, I don't watch them anymore either. But
I used to a long time ago, and it had just gotten crazy.
Yeah.
They've gone.
Well, the Sam Harris thing was what did it for me.
Oh, I think before that I.
It was getting pretty sketchy then, but that was like, okay, I'm done with this.
Couldn't take it. There's only so much exposure to ideas that I don't agree with that I can take.
Yeah.
Steve. I don't watch Steve Shives like some people.
Well, because it's been such a shit, huh?
I don't know how you do it. I'd be trying to screen and throttle.
Well, first of all, you have to set it on like 1.5 speed or something so you can get through it faster. And like, it's hate watching, right? It's not like I'm hanging on his every word and believing. It's like, oh my, like the way he talked about Seth was unbelievable.
And he considered Seth a friend. Imagine what he does to his enemies.
Yeah, and Seth had him on his podcast or whatever and then Seth was like, why is everybody hating on him so much, right? Like, yeeks.
And he didn't know that.
Yeah.
Out there thinks Steve Shives is really an awful person. He's not a humanist, that's for sure.
No. He says terrible things.
Expressed his ill will on nothing should some his enemies come to harm. That's not humanism.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That's Shives.
Well, it's hate. It's hate.
Yeah, he is very much. I mean, I get pissed off, but I'm no Steve Shives.
Well, yeah, it's. I don't know how to put it's like it's personal against him or something, right? And so rather than being able to respond objectively because it's about a topic and not about you, right? Yep. You have to wrap yourself all up in it, and I don't know to what end, but I don't know. It's bizarre. You know,
Yeah,
like obviously there's some issues and stuff that we become personally invested in, but I don't know. You know, well, I mean, the people that he calls out are, they're they're just not as awful as he says they are. That's for sure, and that's just silly.
Mischaracterized. It's like Dan Errol. He completely mischaracterizes the things that her say. Anyway, let's get away from Steve Shives. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I brought him.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, you accused me of watching, and I had to defend myself.
You accused me of bringing up Everyday Feminist articles.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, a reason not to block you.
Some of them are just, it just amazes me
Unfriend, block.
they're lacking in self-awareness, that they rail against racists and sexists, and they're the worst of both.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It'd be funny if it wasn't so harmful. Anyway, this is back to Shaun King. This is this article he wrote called "The White Privilege of the Lone Wolf Shooter." It's the only here's the only part you need to read. What we're witnessing is the blatant fact that white privilege protects even Stephen Paddock, an alleged mass murderer, not just from being called a terrorist, but from the anger, rage, hellfire, and fury that would surely rain down if he were almost anyone other than a white man. Really? Eesh. Are you saying something, Christine? I can't hear you. I think I lost Christine. I think she blew up. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's... the underlying premise is that the guy wouldn't have been punished if he hadn't, you know, died, killed himself, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's just not true. And the anger, rage, hellfire, and fury, of course it rained down on him.
Yeah.
And yeah. And unless we can say it was politically motivated, he's not a terrorist. He's mass murderer is the right term for it.
Yep. Yeah.
Having said that, I know somebody in Nevada said that their definition is a bit different, but this guy's reporting, you know, in an international forum, and I don't think that it would be if it was a local reporter reporting in Nevada to call that person a terrorist legally would, be the correct thing. But I think an important part of it is a political or ideological motive behind terrorist attacks.
In the Nevada law says basically just the attempt of mass murder. This is a really non-standard definition of terrorism that Nevada law is. Yeah. I've never heard anybody describe terrorism without the political motivation being front and center. Yeah. So any social scientist will always say, let's wait and hear about the what the motivation is. I don't think we know that yet. But it's
we might never.
So the reason we don't call him a terrorist is because he wasn't a terrorist.
Yeah. I wonder if he had some kind of, like, I don't know, brain tumor or something like that. And I was saying that to Mom. I'm like, you know, when they do the autopsy, and my mom's like, yeah, I think he kind of blew his head off, so that might not be possible. Oh, yes, I hadn't thought of that. You know.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. They've not revealed anything.
Yeah.
But the whiteness of somebody does not stop us from calling a person a terrorist if they commit a terrorist act. And I will present as Exhibit A Timothy McVeigh. Yeah. And the whole hellfire, rage, and anger came down on him. He was executed.
Yeah.
What protection did his white skin offer him? Nothing.
Yeah.
So this is just a racist rant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, hey, anyway.
He says here, I spoke to 2 people this morning, one black and the other Muslim. Both of them said when they heard about this awful shooting in Las Vegas, they immediately began to hope they immediately began hoping that the shooter was not black or Muslim. I'm sorry, when it comes to an attack like that, before you know that it's, I mean, there's been a lot of terrorist attacks around the world. I'm not going to say that my first thought was black people, that's for sure, but, like mass shootings and stuff like that, terrorist attack. Yeah, I kind of thought it might be a Muslim.
Maybe.
Sorry, but, and every time I hope, oh my goodness, I hope it's not, but very often it is. What they call the new normal now, I suppose, right?
Yeah, definitely. I understand the reticence of people, or not the reticence, but their fear of being associated by their demographic with acts of terror.
Absolutely, yeah.
I understand that,
and they shouldn't be. When somebody, that man shouldn't be equated with all white men, and a Muslim who performs a terrorist attack shouldn't be equated with all Muslims. Everybody knows that. That's just, oh my God, the ignorance and the lack of nuance is stunning.
Well,
he's doing the same thing as people who lump all Muslims as terrorists. He's doing exactly the same thing.
That this is a country that the lowest common denominator mistakes a Sikh as a Muslim.
Yeah.
They wear turban.
Yeah.
It's not. But
well, apparently they do in some regions. They do wear turbans. Muslims do wear turbans too.
Oh yeah, well, maybe,
so it can be.
Maybe in northern India.
Yeah, I think there's slightly different ways of wrapping them or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, typically it's pretty obvious when a person is a Sikh.
Yeah, for us, because
yeah,
we're exposed to them.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Lovely people.
Now there's a leader of a political party in Canada who's
yeah,
turban wearer. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. I was just really angry. I mean, I wrote a pretty good long screed.
Yeah, it's just silly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Every time I think, when they start bashing white males, I think, my dad's a white male. You're a white male. You're my friends. I have lots of friends who are, white males, and
everybody. It's just an old white man. I'm like,
yeah.
Hey. These are my friends. They're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Hypocritical.
Identity politics. Stop.
Yeah.
What do we got? What else have we got? Okay, I'm gonna do this. There we go. I'm getting tired of the mic being too far to the left. No pun intended. I just realized what I said. I'm like, even my mic's
yeah.
What else we got? Actually, we could open up the phone lines too. I'm gonna put what the hell.
Yeah. Let's see here.
We have
nobody watching.
Skype. Yeah, nobody watching. You can either use Skype. Our handle is Legion of Reason, or you can call 1-587. Okay, this it disappeared. Okay, 1-587-288-1067. Yes, so that's toll free, by the way. So anywhere, as far as I know, anywhere in the world.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It told me to drop the one because it was a local call for me.
Yeah. It makes sense. 587 is a local one, but it's through Skype somehow. The magic of Skype.
Okay. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to call, they can do so.
Yeah.
What else we got? What else did I say we had?
Hang on here. The case for colonialism. I'm just going according to the tabs I've got open here. Yeah, the case for colonialism. Speaking of things that, what's that?
The case for colonialism. I haven't read the paper yet. I really want to read the paper. I don't have time today.
I read the abstract or whatever. go to
Yeah,
Edmonton
okay.
right now, actually.
Yeah, I have to do the music.
The Regressive Left Files.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, I should say that for the end now that I think of it. Sorry.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We can go on to the case for colonialism. Bruce Gilley wrote, he was a professor of, I believe, political science at Portland University.
Here, do you want the link to the paper and you can show it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Here.
I know somebody put the link up to the PDF, and thank you very much.
That's what I know. Yeah, yeah. Like you said, Streisand effect.
Did you post it in okay.
The Google Hangout chat?
I didn't go there.
Okay, where are you on now?
I'll look for it. Editing time.
I'm going to put it on YouTube too.
Where is it?
No, it doesn't let me do that.
Oh, damn it. Come on. Find it. Okay, here's the... And there it is. Okay. Here's the screen. Case for colonialism. I think I'll just read the abstract.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, why don't you read the abstract? It's taking too long.
Okay. For the last 100 years, Western colonialism has had a bad name. It is high time to question this orthodoxy. Western colonialism was, as a general rule, both objectively beneficial and subjectively legitimate in most of the places where it was found, using realistic measures of those concepts. The countries that embraced their colonial inheritance, by and large, did better than those that spurned it. Anti-colonial ideology imposed grave harms on subject peoples and continues to thwart sustained development in a fruitful encounter with modernity in many places. Colonialism can be recovered by weak and fragile states today in three ways: by reclaiming colonial modes of governance, by recolonizing some areas, and by creating new Western colonies from scratch. So that's the abstract.
Yeah. I think that on the whole, colonialism has been bad. That, like we can talk about the massacres of the people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that to say that it was all bad 100%, no. Things like modern agriculture techniques, that's how they were introduced into these regions. And it's dogmatic to say it was completely bad and there was nothing good about it. I mean,
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Science is colonial. And I'm like,
oh, I know. Yeah.
Okay, well, so what? It works. Get over it.
Yeah, and it's helped a lot of people.
Yeah, science. Some
extended lives.
More
save lives.
Reliable things like medicine. I mean, that was brought in to areas of colonialism.
Yeah.
So what happened with this Bruce Gilley was he received threats from an unknown source, as far as we know, and forced a retraction.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the go to the Facebook page? Here it is. Case for colonialism. Okay. It's a withdrawal notice, and this essay has been withdrawn at the request of the academic journal editor and in agreement with the author of the essay. Following a number of complaints, Taylor and Francis conducted a thorough investigation into the peer review process on this article. Now, we should step back a little bit, because when this paper was published, 15 of the editors resigned in protest because
really? I didn't know that. Okay.
That the reviewers had actually rejected it.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. You sound a little bit underwater there.
They said that they had found evidence that the reviewing reviewers had rejected it.
Okay.
And it got published. So that was not the case.
Okay.
Dollars to donuts. This person, well, maybe more than one person, who made the threat didn't read the paper at all anyway.
Oh, probably not. Yeah.
Whilst, so I'll go on here. Whilst this clearly demonstrated the essay had undergone double-blind peer review in line with the journal's editorial policy, the journal editor has subsequently received serious and credible threats of personal violence. These threats are linked to the publication of this essay. As the publisher, we must take this seriously. Taylor and Francis has a strong and supportive duty of care to all our academic editorial teams, and this is why we are withdrawing this essay.
They got bullied into withdrawing it.
Yeah, this is my problem with it. Yeah,
yeah. Totally. They would be fine with. Obviously, they disagree with the withdrawal. Like, I think the way they've worded it, it's like, we have to do this because we're being, getting death threats. That's, yeah, because people don't like words. There's some words,
yeah, exactly,
ideas that people just don't like.
Different than mine.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's my
Read
problem.
the paper and write your rebuttal and submit it for peer review, just like everybody else does, Well, not everybody else does, but, in that realm, that's what you do. You don't threaten violence.
Yeah.
Jesus.
This isn't the heckler's veto anymore.
Yeah.
This is petty thug veto. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that will let this slide because they happen to agree with the petty thug. So, and they're the problem with that is, well, one day they're going to come for you.
Well, like the Hypatia article or whatever, the paper that was. Yeah. I mean, I think they eventually republished it, didn't they?
I don't know. I hadn't followed.
Yeah, but under the public pressure of.
This is the wrong action to take. I think I
shouldn't say public pressure because it was other academics that were attacking her. A lot of them.
Yes, it was. It was a long list of signatories to.
Yeah.
And they were academic signatories, and they're in predictable fields like gender studies. Where dogma seems to be. It's not teaching ideas; it's teaching dogma.
Yeah.
And it's just wrong.
Well, if you teach it correctly,
sure.
It's an interesting thought experiment, right? And it's valuable to think of things from a different perspective, but enacting it in real life and threatening people with death as a consequence of those kinds of beliefs is just way off the fucking charts. Way off the charts.
That the mark of intelligence is the ability to examine an idea without agreeing with that idea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is a very intelligent person.
Yeah.
So they were bullied into this, and Bruce Gilley has withdrawn his membership with the Political Science Association. There's an association, academic association.
Okay.
Basically, because of their inability to debate ideas.
Yeah.
What is going on? And it just blows my mind.
I know, it's scary.
This is supposed to be academia. We're
surprised he hasn't been fired.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on.
Maybe that's coming down the pipe. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, what's next on our plate?
Let's see here. A victory for Canadian women. Anti-abortion MP rejected as head of Status of Women Committee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so you'll remember that we had a. Let's just share the screen here. There for everyone. There we go. We talked last time about the Liberals and NDP walking out on of the House Committee for Status of Women, and because this Rachel Harder, who is an anti-choice MP, that was the Conservatives, who the Conservatives put forward as their nominee for the position of chair. And I like I said, I didn't agree with it at the time. It's moot. She was not voted in. So I guess in a way, if you know you're going to vote them out and not vote for them, and you have the majority of the votes, yeah, you might want to make that stand right away. Like, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a political animal. Yeah, but anyway, she lost the election for that position. I don't know who actually got the chair in the end. I don't think.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Hang on here.
Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere in this article, I don't think.
Interesting.
Lost, but doesn't tell you who won. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Shall we Google it?
Yeah, go ahead. Google it.
Okay. Alrighty.
I'll just check. Oh, Dustin Dark was commenting on the colonialism.
Okay.
And yeah, he gives a few examples like literacy, plumbing, philosophy, sciences. Yeah. And there is a decent case to be made that there was significant positive results along with the tragedy of colonialism, positive results that continue on. Yeah, they do continue on.
Okay.
Hope that the idea is to fix the things that colonialism did that were really bad. If you can, I mean, it's kind of hard. Some of the massacres, of First Nations peoples, for instance.
Yeah.
That's got to fix. I mean, that history hurts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think so. It says here the last committee meeting was on October 3rd. So I imagine they haven't put forth. They haven't nominated somebody in, I suppose, yet.
No. Okay.
Status of Women Committee I'm talking about. Yeah. I jumped backwards.
Well, actually, I jumped backwards. You came back to the present. Yeah. So that's all we got to say about that, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just chalk it up to conservatives. They are always anti-choice. I mean, it's almost across the board. It's been a long time since.
I don't know about that.
Joe Clark was the last one I can think of that was pro-choice.
I mean, in my general circle of people, I know conservatives that are like they're
conservative. I'm talking about the MPs.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't think they really reflect. Most. I know quite a few conservatives, and they're fiscal conservatives and not,
fiscal
conservatives.
Conservatism has nothing to do with big C conservatism.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They don't really represent, the Canadian populace, I think, except for the, I guess, more extreme.
Yeah, I'm not a fiscal conservative. I believe in spending where you need it.
Yeah.
And the times that you need to spend are the times where the economic downturns happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not got a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm very much in balanced budget legislation. Very against it. That's handcuffing the money supply. Crazy. It's insanity.
Yeah. True. Yeah. As long as it's being spent on things that actually benefit society.
Well, I hope so.
As opposed to warmongering and shit like that, right?
Not like the Saskatchewan conservatives before they disappeared because of what happened in the Devine government. There were at least a dozen MPs imprisoned because of fiscal malfeasance while they were not in the government.
Yeah.
So the Conservative Party completely disbanded after that, because it just transformed. It didn't really disband; it changed it. It created a new Conservative Party called the Saskatchewan Party, which
rebranded.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Brad Wall is the now step premier.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to his Christmas message.
Yeah, I was just going to say, hopefully there's going to be more of those Christmas Jesus messages on the public dime.
Yeah, speaking of, irresponsible spending. Jeez.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Conservatives have put up the highest deficits. They're way worse than central. Well, even NDP in Saskatchewan, they were balancing the budget. They balanced the budget in Saskatchewan before Alberta did.
Okay.
After the Divine years, the NDP was in power for a while, and they balanced the book and got, despite Alberta having huge oil revenues, and they got really greedy with that too, right? And the royalties just got too much, and it hurt oil exploration here in Alberta. Okay. And now we've lost the one pipeline that was supposed to go east.
Yeah.
And it's not a good idea, because now it's got to go by train. Not the smartest thing. If you were looking for safety, trains are the worst.
Yeah, not to mention environmental,
environmentally,
yeah,
they're terrible. And worse, they go through populated areas.
Yeah.
I mean, Lac Mégantic, that disaster, killed 140 people.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just politicians.
Yeah, and you can't transform, a system that's dependent on, petroleum products overnight. Yeah. You have to rebuild it, or change it, you can't just do it overnight.
Nope.
Yeah. So people that, we can, this is better for the environment given the conditions that we currently face and the demands that are currently, there, and take the safer route, clearly.
Okay, got to get this back up. I wonder if there might be audio in this too. This one, I'm going to go over to the Calgry school trustee.
Oh.
This woman. Let's play the video here. I'm going to share the screen again. We'll just play the video. That'll be interesting. I wonder what she's got to say about this. Come on. I got using up a fair bit of bandwidth here. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not going to happen. Oh, no, now it's loading.
I am transgender, which means I was assigned female at birth, but I have been a boy all along. I just didn't know how to tell anyone that until I was 14 years old.
It takes a lot of courage to be in high school and to publicly come out as the gender they identify with.
When I finally let myself say I'm a boy, just felt like a snuggled jacket that you never really seemed to grow out of.
Their bravery is often celebrated by their peers, and many say they wouldn't have had the strength without support in their schools. So when someone running to represent them is condemning them, it's a concerning realization.
I was shocked and scared, really scared that someone would make those connections. To put the blame on our community it's like, how could this be our fault?
This is the social media post that has compelled many to react. The author of the statement is a woman who is running for school board trustee in wards 12 and 14.
You really want people to go to the ballots because they're inspired and they want to be a part of something great. And but we know that sometimes the hate does motivate. But I will say very clearly that there is no role for hate in the role of trustee. We accept everybody in public education.
Many who reject Karen Draper's remarks hope this motivates voters to get more engaged and learn about the candidates.
As much as we may dislike those opinions, as much as we might be offended by those positions, they exist and they're here and they're feeling emboldened enough to run for political office. And so if anything, this is a call and a red flag to citizens to get engaged. These people have a right to run, they have a right to have their opinions. What we have to do as citizens is decide whether or not we think that they should represent us as citizens, and that means getting out to vote.
We reached out to Karen Draper, but she has not responded to our requests for an interview. She did post a follow-up comment in an effort to validate and justify her comments, sparking even more outrage. Jill Croteau, Global News.
And she's done.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
I'm surprised she hasn't withdrawn already, frankly.
I rank this right up there with. Okay, so let's just step back for a second and say, okay, that was the motivation. Does that make it the LGBT community's fault? Like, I don't think so.
That is the stupidest connection. Like, what is she trying to say? That the guy was gay, or what? I don't.
Because Islam doesn't like homosexuality very much, right?
Well, that's got nothing whatsoever to. What the hell is she talking about?
I'm just grasping at straws here. You know, I have no idea what went through her mind.
Yeah.
But let's just say that she's totally right. This is like blaming the Charlie Hebdo publishers for a couple of people coming into their offices and shooting them just over some cartoons.
Yeah.
It happened, right? There were people out there that were saying, oh, it was their fault because they upset Muslims. Like, what? No, not their fault.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Crazy to do that.
Well, I mean, you could just say, hey, all of Western society is at fault because they offend Muslims every day, you know? Okay, really?
Yeah. That's just crazy. Let's look at a happy story here. I don't think that in the list, but anyway, I'm going to share the screen again. Remember that Iranian, well, no, it was the Americans that were complaining about having to compete in hijab in Iran, right, in chess.
Oh, yeah.
So this is from Iran Focus. I've never heard of them before. It's interesting. Anyway, Iran loses female chess champ to the U.S. over bad hijab rules. Bad hijab is in quotation marks.
Huh.
This young woman who was very adept.
Okay.
Dorsa Derekshani, and she refused to wear the hijab, and all Iranian women have been forced to wear this in when they're competing, even I guess elsewhere. Is that right?
Wow. I don't know about elsewhere. I'm not sure. Because the last one was held in Iran. I really hadn't heard about this until the last one. Huh.
Yeah. It's amazing that the chess organization capitulates to that. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah.
You don't reward a country for that is clearly has misogynistic laws with something like this, having a chess championship.
Yeah, hold it elsewhere.
Hold it elsewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention that the players themselves are not going to feel very comfortable about wearing one of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Awful. It's all in the name of tolerance.
Well, that was a happy story.
Well, she quit the Iranian team and
yeah. That's very cool.
That is a happy story.
Yeah.
She refused to wear the hijab. So on Monday, the semi-official Iranian news agency reported that Derek Shani, who won the titles of Woman Grandmaster and International Master in 2016, has joined the U.S. National Chess Team instead.
And I'm sure she'll be a great asset.
Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder why.
Do you mind if we take? Can we take like a 5-minute break?
No, it's dead air if you do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't want dead air. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Let's see what else we got with this. Oh yeah. We got to go to the UN thing.
Oh yeah.
There was a motion. Was it I think it's in this. Yeah, this is from the United Nations. There was a Human Rights Council resolution which condemned the imposition of the death penalty as a sanction for specific forms of conduct such as apostasy, blasphemy, adultery, and consensual same-sex relations. It attacked the use of execution against persons with mental or intellectual disabilities, persons below 18 years of age at the time of the commission of the crime, and pregnant women. Oh wow, there's that badge privilege again.
No, it's fetus privilege or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't think it's nice to kill women who are pregnant. That's not cool. Yeah.
That's one way to put it. So the United States failed. They voted against this. Now I've queued this up so that we can actually hear this. This is the United States reaction. Yeah, they had a statement. There is a reason they voted against it, but I'll just play it.
We voted against that resolution because of broader concerns with the resolution's approach in condemning the death penalty in all circumstances, and it called for the abolition of the death penalty altogether. We had hoped for a balanced and inclusive resolution that would better reflect the positions of states that continue to apply the death penalty lawfully, as the United States does. The United States unequivocally condemns the application of the death penalty for conduct such as homosexuality, blasphemy, adultery, and apostasy. We do not consider such conduct appropriate for criminalization. Okay, I hope that's clear.
Okay, so that's the reason why they voted against it, because it was a resolution that criticized all situations in which the death penalty is used. I mean, they just want to get rid of it. I actually happen to think that we should get rid of the death penalty. It shouldn't be anywhere.
Well, me too, especially in like what country was supplying the drugs to kill, the death whatever, the injection or whatever that they refused to on the basis of human rights. And so now we've got a situation where they're experimenting essentially with drugs and they're not working like they should. So this is like really cruel and inhumane.
There was the United States that found out that their drug was being used to kill people, and they said, no.
Yeah.
And
I think it was Denmark or something, wasn't it?
Well, there was an American company that was.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Huh.
But the problem is that I don't know if this part of the clip. I didn't play the whole thing, but this part of the clip was talking about lawful use of the death penalty, and I'm like, well, death penalty for apostasy or blasphemy, those are lawful too, right?
Yeah.
So, is it? Where do you draw the line? I think the only place you can. I mean, I know there's a visceral kind of satisfaction when somebody who murders a bunch of people brutally is given the death sentence, but we're better than that, right? It's leave the visceral satisfaction out of it, and you realize there's no reason for a death penalty.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
I feel good, and believe me, I'm not crying tears for people who are, who have committed heinous crimes and are given a lethal injection, but I think the state shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
It's a violation. We worried about prisoners having their rights violated, and yet the ultimate right, which is the right to life, is being taken away from them. Like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know, as much as it feels good. Yeah.
Yeah. When I first heard the UN thing, I thought it was just about homosexuality, apostasy, and whatever, you know.
Yeah,
and I thought,
more
okay,
general.
what the hell? And then I started to think, like, they've got the death penalty down there, so they would defend that by voting against it. Hey, so yeah, I mean, it's the United Nations. Like, let's agree that the death penalty is a bad thing all around. You know.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's
And I mean, look at who is on the side of, you know, pro death penalty versus those that were against it. It was, you know.
Beach Price is back on the chat. Hey, Beach.
Hello.
You like the story about the chess playing one. Yeah, it's a happy story. It's one of the few. we usually put stories on here that we get, at least I get really pissed off about. That motivates me to action. You know, as little as this is. I try to raise awareness of the effects of religion, or the cult of social justice, for that matter, which has become something else.
Yeah.
And what else we got? I got a whole bunch of this stuff that, like, there's Scientology is opening up a new office in downtown Guelph. And
yeah.
Online group. They're planning to stand against Scientology, whatever that means. It's kind of funny. It was a cartoon I saw that where religions that are older, you know, like Christianity or Islam, they're treated with respect and reverence, but those same people will think that these new religions like Scientology or Mormonism is nuts. Yeah. What's the difference? The difference is purely on the length of time they've been around. It makes no sense. And so why not also, you know, somebody made the point on the Facebook page, you know, why only this religion? Yeah.
Maybe it's, I mean, like, it's interesting that there's, you know, biblical scholarship and blah, 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 you know, people that want to either support or deny the claims of the Bibles, like, you know, even within our Richard Carrier and that kind of thing, right? So there's a debate there. But when the history is so freaking clear and everybody knows it, right? It's not like we have to, you know, try to dig up archaeology to find the origins of, you know, Mormonism or Scientology. It's right there in our face, right? The criminals,
well,
they're criminals.
Those
a lot of them, you know.
TV shows on the channel, you know, that's the archaeology of stuff that tries to prove Mormonism. It made me feel like the Learning Channel has been bought out by.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
And
yeah.
You know, it's Scientology is particularly pernicious. It prays, like, it makes, you know, those preachers that demand you to send money. It puts them to shame. I mean, they're
it's true.
Horrible.
Well,
if you ever read Lawrence's book, Going Clear, it's a fantastic book, and he's a great journalist, and he just presented his investigations and into Scientology, its origins, and he lets you be the judge. Of course, there's no way to put Scientology in a good light. It's so bizarre. You know, people, the FBI, or I think it was, raided a place, and they found a whole bunch of people in the basement that they weren't locked in, but they were told to stay there. And, you know, it was just filthy, and it was punishment, apparently. And it was a Scientology house, and They said had to figure out what to do with them. They said, well, they're not being held there against their will, and we just leave. There's nothing they can do. People were, they were in the house and they could have walked out. Of course, they'd be. What do they call it in Scientology? The shunning. It's I can't remember the word. Something.
Okay, yeah, disfellowship or something. Disfellowship.
Witnesses. That's disfellowship. There's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In Scientology. It's a weird one. Scientology hasn't really been in the news that much. I think they've really taken some hits.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
And they've done some weird stuff, like Operation Snow White. They raided. They broke into the Internal Revenue Service offices to find out what. That's pretty brazen. I mean, the IRS doesn't screw around. Anyway, they litigation, and that's just what they do is they make use of litigation to force the government to do what they want. In this case, they wanted to get tax-free status.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you see my message?
No, I didn't actually. No.
Check it out.
Disconnection, is that what it is, Beach? I can't remember what it is. It doesn't sound right.
I really need 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'll just
chat with the chat room or something. I'll be
give me a damn phone call. Be the first call.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Actually pay for this.
You're
I suspect a potty break. I guess the wine went right through this time. Oh well. I can bring up this woman here. This woman is people in Australia, listeners in Australia, you'll recognize this woman. She's the Australian version of Linda Sarsour, Yasmin Abdelmajid. Yeah, this was what she said after the Vegas shooting. She said, where is it? Here we go. Well, this is one thing she said. It would be taking representatives of white men to task on TV, radio, and print, asking why they don't apologize for actions of white men. Okay. If we treat white men like brown Muslims, news wouldn't be talk of gun laws. It would be pundits asking what makes white men so violent. Well, actually, we're not that violent. We're no more violent than any other group. If I had a, I'll see if I can find it. Oh yeah, there's an article in Kiet. I love this website. Kiet is fantastic, and it looked at I'm just going to share this now. It looked at whether or not that was actually true that white men in particular, of course, because there are very few mass murdering white women or women in general. Is it prevalently white? And the answer is no. They give a good definition of terrorism in here, by the way. The use, I would say, not the use of violence, but the use or endorsement of violence. The pursuit of political goals, which of course is paramount when we're talking about terror, and the aim of spreading fear among the target population to get them to do what you want to do. Right. But if he looked at in this article, the author looked at the statistics of mass murdering, and what the racial demographics were. It turned out whites were no more or less. Basically, the population demographics were the same as. So there's no. What's interesting, though, and I'd love to know the answer to this, is that white men are, in fact, by far overrepresented in sociopathic. What's the word I'm looking for? Serial killers. That's predominantly white. Almost all. There's been like maybe one black serial killer that we know of. Very, very few women. But in terms of mass shootings, though, it's pretty much exactly the numbers you would expect from the population demographics. So,
interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't read that article yet, but
it's quite good. It goes through the whole thing. He didn't. There's no mention of the Shaun King thing in this article, but
okay.
Yeah, it's just really. It's just a really good read. I really liked it. Well, of course, it could be spoon feeding me a bunch of bullshit, but yeah, I like Quillette. It's a good website for free thinkers, and it doesn't kowtow to adherence to some kind of dogma that I just can't stand.
Is that basically run by Majid Nawaz? Is that?
No, I don't know who. The founder is a woman, and I can't remember her name. I saw an interview.
Because that's the name of his foundation too, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he's definitely one of the big names that's involved with Quillette.
Yeah.
What else have I got here? What's this? Oh, that's the Scientology story. I love this one. Wimbledon station commuters flee train in Bible panic.
Oh, I thought that was so hilarious.
It's just like, but he's not reading from the Quran, right?
I don't know. It's just so funny.
I don't know. How do you get that up over somebody reading Bible verses? Because I don't know. Maybe
commuters became scared when the man also began saying, "Death is not the end," a passenger said. Rail power lines were cut as passengers self-evacuated, in quotes, police said. Some people just fled from the, preacher. The crazy street. What's up?
That's the other meaning for the word evacuate, is to shit your pants.
That's true.
I'm like,
I don't think
when you said that, I'm like, what? Self-evacuated. I don't. That's a double entendre. I'm sure.
Well, it's in quotes. It just means people fled from the crazy preacher, right?
Well, that's maybe why.
It's a way of saying it.
That may be why it's in quotes, because it is a double entendre. Yeah, I don't understand this. I mean, I've heard one plane where a passenger prayed in the aisle and everybody freaked out. You imagine that? I mean, dude, pray, quiet.
Yeah.
But you got to understand the modern, the modern optics of that aren't too good. And
no, that's true.
They're gonna jump you.
I can't say I blame them though. Like if some, there's some crazy street preacher, I want to run like hell too. But usually you just point and laugh, right? Like or just ignore them, or I don't know.
Self-evacuated. That's just...
Ian, who was on the train, said the man's Bible reading led to quote commotion and quote crush. Oh, he said someone. Hang on. Oh, that was my screen. He said someone then asked the man to stop speaking as he was scaring people, and the guy stopped and stood there with his head down. Aw, like I feel bad for the poor guy. Oh my God! Can you imagine like spewing your religious nonsense and people just all of a sudden start like that? That is an overreaction for sure.
Yeah.
It is funny though.
What else have I got?
The smudging thing.
Oh, the smudging thing. Yeah. It's from the Regina Leader post. Put that up again. All right. And I'll present it. So Regina Public School Division makes way for smudging in schools. Now, smudging is a religious ceremony of First Nations where they burn some sage, and according to them, a sage is a multi-purpose medicine, and one of 4 on a tray before him. Okay, so yeah, they burn the sage and then they use the ashes, and it's kind of like Ash Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah, they chase away the evil spirits or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Cleanse themselves of evil, or...
Yes, it says, the guy said that they use sage in a way of protecting your spirit.
Yeah.
Whatever. I have a problem with any religious accommodation in school.
Me too.
I can't, yeah, schools are not in the business of supplying space or time. But, you know, can you imagine churches, basically you're creating a church within your school.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, it's just for prayer or whatever.
It's on the taxpayer's dime. It's you know, yeah, it's a religious ceremony. You let one in and you have to let them all in.
Yep. Yep.
And we've established a long time ago that we're not letting any of them in. So what the hell? And is this not cultural appropriation as well?
I don't know. Is it? How?
I would think it is. If you're, you know, a non-First Nations person participating in the ceremony without understanding the meaning and all that stuff behind it, if you're just throwing it into the schools and, oh, that sounds like fun, like that doesn't really teach anything.
Well,
I mean, I suppose it does. It teaches a ritual, but it doesn't really teach.
First, you'd have to actually show me that cultural appropriation is bad.
Well, that's true. But I mean, you know, I'm bringing up an argument that is tossed out there all the time for the sake of,
yeah, I know.
You know, making a point here, right?
Yeah, it's allowing. Well, we already have, you know, prayer in public schools is allowed in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario.
Yeah. It's just not. Well, I guess it is done. Not here, basically. I'd say.
Yeah, it's not that many schools do that because I don't think they do.
Yeah.
Does happen.
Rural areas, maybe. I don't think you get away with that
Alberta.
here. No way. Yeah. But in Calgary, no.
Calgary, no, not in the public system, no.
Yeah.
I would be really surprised. But they're allowed to do it in the provincial constitution.
Yeah.
However, which, by the way, was put there and on the insistence from Ontario.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't all right. Well, it wasn't Alberta's idea.
Wow. Okay.
And now everybody's trying to get rid of it. But we shouldn't be in the business of accommodating any religion. Because, like, if you do it for one, you're going to have to do it for all.
I don't mind accommodating, but actually,
I don't even want to.
Well, I hear you. I mean, I kind of agree, but if people want to, you know, pray on their own dime and their own time, you know, and it's not costing anybody, you know what I mean? What's that saying? It costs me neither a penny from my pocket or whatever, right? I'm sorry, I can't remember who said that. You know what I'm talking to. If it doesn't bother anybody, just let them do it. But if you're holding like special accommodations.
No, I still have a problem because it's the principle. Okay, I mean, it's like people saying that about birth control. Some doctor is working in a walk-in clinic refuses to provide or to prescribe birth control.
Yeah.
Well, they could just go to the next to another walk-in. Well, that may be true, but it's the principle. It's not. It's about principle, not ease of getting around it.
I know, but if the guy were to, or the physician in question were to prescribe the, you know, thing and start praying for you or something, or go behind the counter and, you know, often his own or her own prayer thing, then I don't give a shit. I've got my prescription. If you want to be a wing nut, right? That's kind of the same thing I think about, you know, if you're going to do it and it's not on the taxpayer's dime and it's on your own time on the school premises, okay, you know. Now, building rooms and all that kind of stuff for prayer, no.
Yeah, I just don't want any school associated with any, because it becomes exclusionary.
Yeah.
It's a form of segregation. I mean, kids know that.
Yeah.
We knew that. It was funny, was because when I was in elementary school, we'd have these special things around Halloween where we'd have pumpkin tarts instead of
nice. Yeah.
tarts. No, but Jehovah's Witness children couldn't participate in something as simple as that. It's like,
yeah. Yeah, true enough. Yeah. Yeah.
That was how to feel awkward.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Yeah.
And
yeah, there was a JW in my elementary school, and she just wasn't allowed to do anything. I just felt so bad for her.
No kidding. What a Why would you want to be in a religion like that, where you get not Christmas, not Halloween, not I don't know about Thanksgiving. Maybe they don't even do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. And there's really good reasons not to, because if you're an apostate, you are screwed. They're one of the shunning religions, right?
Yeah.
You don't even acknowledge their existence if you become a non-believer.
That poor kid. I mean, it's just like grade 4, grade 5, and you kind of wonder what the outcome was for somebody like that, huh? Having been exposed to it by going to public schools, right?
Yeah, well, so
and feeling that pain of, oh, everybody else is having a Slurpee and I can't have one or whatever, right?
Oh yeah, like a Mormon. You're thinking more Mormon.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah. Come to think of it, yeah.
That's they can't do caffeinated drinks, and I'm like, how the hell do you get up in the morning if you're a Mormon?
Kidding.
I cannot fathom that. I'm like, God, I'm dying for a coffee when I get up.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's something else. What else have I got anything else?
Not that I know of.
Okay, that's the more on that. That's the smudging ceremony. They said that it made First Nations children more feel better about going to school, but
that's fine.
I don't care. That's not
the
purpose of school is learning. It's not to accommodate your religion.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what the line is there, but I don't think tax dollars should go toward it, and I don't think it should be done on school time.
Well, then if it's not done in school time, then it's not done at school at all.
Well, if they want to come in 15 minutes early and somebody wants to lead it, that's not salaried for it on the taxpayer's budget, how about her,
It just makes me, I just feel that
makes me squirm too, but
what's that?
It makes me squirm too, but
thin edge of the wedge. That's the problem, right? That's why I'm going to talk about this.
Well, tax dollars in terms of, salaries and time or whatever should not be put toward that. Other than that, whatever. That's my opinion anyway.
Still public property though, Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
But, well, I mean, when I was a kid, we would have piano. There'd be, I don't know, you could go in there, say, as a piano instructor and say, hey, can I borrow some classroom time after hours and instruct a course on playing piano. And, so the kids that were interested would sign up, and otherwise they'd just go home, right? No big deal. It was not taxpayer funded. It was just the school staying open a little bit longer. Not a big deal, I think, right? And there was like a Bible reading thing and all kinds of stuff like that, hey? And it was just
voted against because of broader concern.
Sorry, go ahead. That's my bad.
Essentially, third-party course deliverers of whatever stripe were just, they'd pay their money to rent the space and, they do their thing. So if you don't want your kid to be in it, you wouldn't, sign them up. And it was, not free either. Piano lessons weren't free. but they were cheaper than, you know, going to your private instructor.
Okay, somebody phone.
Yeah.
Phone number is on the screen. I'll put it up in big print.
Two watching on Facebook.
Two watching. Okay.
Oh, okay. Beach says I could see this in a cultural awareness week or something. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
There. That's staying up until somebody phones.
Me.
1-587-288-1067, or you can Skype to the Legion of Reason. Legion of Reason. One word. No the. Love to get a phone call because it'd be the first and we could test this thing out.
I know, it'd be fun. We need more listeners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody loves us.
Proselytize away. Spread us wide. We would love to get some phone calls.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Subliminal phone.
The what phone?
Subliminal phone.
Oh. Can you hear the dog scratching at the door? And did you hear it barking earlier?
I heard barking earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not been very active. Yeah, no kidding. Contacts have not been lately. Yeah, somebody phone. I phone myself, but my phone's upstairs. I think it's just, that'd be kind of cool. Hopefully we can get some phone calls next week because we're going to have a guest who is atheist, I should say anti-choice. I'll be nice.
Pro-life.
Pro-life.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I've seen the arguments on it.
Christine, and I don't dare try to pronounce her last name, even though it was said to me not too long ago.
We'll be on next Sunday night at 8. And anybody who is in Saskatoon will be there at the University of Saskatchewan somewhere. I got to find out where this thing is because I'm one of the panelists. There's an interfaith thing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's kind of funny for an atheist to be on.
I've done a couple of them. It's kind of fun.
Kind of a debate-ish kind of format. And
yeah, just like you're addressing the audience in terms of what you think of, things like the afterlife and, blah, 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 right?
Yeah. Especially working on where, we always get that question, where do we get our morals from if we don't?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're kidding, right? There's a whole huge area of philosophy called normative ethics.
Yeah.
And God doesn't appear in there. So
I think if you were honest about your religion, it's the degree to which it's been secularized that makes it tolerable to the rest of society, right?
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because we don't. This is one of the points I make is that anybody in the I'm going to ask in the audience how many people are Christian and how many people are Muslim, and I'm saying how many of you, those who put their hand up, have gay friends?
Mm-hmm.
And I say, what is your holy book tell you to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, I'm trying to get people to see that they're not taking their morality from their holy scriptures. They are bringing theirs to it and ignoring the stuff that they disagree with.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the scary people are the ones that take their holy scripture seriously, and you see that in places like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia.
US. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, no, most of them take it seriously.
Yeah.
How many people actually believe that apostates should be killed in Islamic countries? It's overwhelmingly in support of the state killing apostates in places like Pakistan. And yeesh.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
Is that the ones that have emigrated to Canada or the United States or the West in general? They're not like that. I wouldn't say. Well, I don't know. Places
I'm
like
sure the odd one slips through because but our check-in process is pretty. Pardon me.
Yeah, Canada's is pretty stringent.
Yeah. But for the most part, these are people that are fleeing those conditions, not wanting to bring them here.
Yeah, and they've had a lot of problems in places where they've been open doors.
Yeah,
like Germany has had a lot of problems with Muslim community.
Yeah,
like the whole grooming. Well, Britain grooming gangs. All Islamic. Majid about them, and it's great because he talks about things that, as a non-Muslim, we would be dismissed for talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, like Sam Harris is essentially, right? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so they have a lot of problems in Britain as well, and a lot of this has to do with the EU's rather, well, should we say, less than selective process for immigration. We're not talking about refugees. We're talking about there was the Edmonton attacker. I can't remember his name. I know he's Somali. He was sent. It was not deported, but he was refused refugee status in the U.S.
Okay.
And then somehow he ended up in Canada. I'd like to know how that happened. And I think a lot of people would like to know how that happened. Because we do have a very stringent selection process. It's very hard.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All the people that wanted to become a Canadian after Donald Trump got elected.
I think that was a bit of an eye-opener for those poor Americans, right? Like, no, you can't come in.
You just come here and move here and get Canadian citizenship. It's not that easy. It's very difficult.
Well, that Nova Scotia campaign was kind of cute, and it probably...
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. But it's true. I mean, there are certain areas where they do need more economic stimulation. And if you were to come in here and, like provide jobs in those regions that need more populations, it's just that there's probably not that many in Canada, right? Like for the most part, I think, that a lot of people are lacking jobs, but that particular region, I'm sure they do want to bring people in.
Well,
stimulate the economy and, what's up?
Alberta's not doing that well right now. I mean, it's still recording.
No. Yeah. So I'm sure we would not be inviting people that might potentially take Albertans' jobs here. Let's put it that way. Those damn Americans come up here and stealing our jobs.
Trump.
Yeah.
The dog.
Yes, puppy. Oh, I know. Yeah. Sorry.
I just got a call.
You have a call?
Somebody's got a phone. Yes, that phone number again, 1-587-288-1097. We really would like to get a call.
I'll post it.
God damn it, go. See if it works.
Yeah. What's the number again?
1-587-288-1067. I'm reading it backwards on my screen.
Okay. Begging and pleading. Call us.
Yeah, we've pretty much covered everything that we wanted to talk about, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, let's hang out for another.
Sure, a couple more minutes.
Yeah, see if we get any calls because I'm posting it on 3 sites.
I could read some Vogon. That would get people to call to tell me to shut up.
Some what?
Vogon poetry.
What's that? Oh, poetry. What is that?
Vogon poetry. You don't know your Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, do you?
Oh no, I don't actually. You're right. I know a couple of little things that are,
You seriously have not read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I haven't.
Oh. Oh. You must.
Are you gonna pop cult shame me?
It originally started as a BBC radio play, radio serial, and then it moved to TV, and then he published the books.
Yeah.
The TV was really good.
I've just never seen. I know a bit about it, but what does that phrase mean?
Vogon poetry. It's I think it's the third worst poetry in the universe.
Oh, okay.
And so
next to slam poetry.
There was one Vogon who was reciting poetry, and his intestines reached up into his brain and throttled it to death in order to save it to listen to any more of it. Yeah, it's. Oh.
Nobody's phoning us.
Nobody's phoning. Should have a period of silence. Keep it on.
No, I sent you something that you could post if we need to take a break. Did you see that?
Oh no, how do I get that?
I sent it through the Google Hangouts.
Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry. Play that. Is this like the
drive-in intermission thing where the jumping hot dogs, flip and all that stuff, right?
Yum.
Time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
Lovely.
You have to broadcast it.
Yeah. Oh God, that's just awful.
That's funny as hell.
It's awful.
We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go! Go starts in 7 minutes.
Oh my gosh. 7 minutes of that, I don't think I could take it. It's a shame they don't put cartoons in front of movies anymore.
Oh, okay.
I loved that. It was one of my favorite things. I think the last movie I saw that had that was A Fish Called Wanda.
Okay.
And
you that in the background. Or kill it.
Yeah, I'll just let it run in the background. And that was when the cat came back. That was have you heard of that one? It's
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, Canadian short, and they put it in front of A Fish Called Wanda.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But before that, oh my gosh, it was a long time. I loved watching Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes before movies. Now they've sanitized Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah.
Look at some of the old ones. Absolutely. Pretty offensive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Call us.
Yeah, call us or we'll play this on a goddamn loop. And it'll go forever. Intermission.
Go starts in 5 minutes.
Have you been watching TV lately?
No, not really. No. I don't have cable or anything. I just all I have is internet, which is more than enough.
Okay, though you can get Netflix,
Yeah, I had it, but I never watched it.
Oh,
so,
what do you do?
Not watching TV.
Well, yeah, but while you're not watching TV, what do you do?
Right now I am working on a graphic design project and writing.
Huh. All right. I don't know. I need my brain to decompress, and so I end up watching Netflix or, of course, now.
I watch stuff on YouTube. You know.
Have you watched Rick and Morty?
I haven't. What's the controversy about that I've seen popping up lately?
Controversy?
I don't know. Somebody was saying something about, I don't know, I came across some headline or something that was, I don't know, saying something about their fans are terrible or blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Oh, one of the guy that voices Morty, I thought he hates his, hates the fan base. I'm like, okay, so what?
Okay. I don't care who watches that.
I really don't care. It's not really interesting to me. I love the show.
Well, I don't know anything about it, but I have a very bent and dark sense of humor, and there are things I like to watch that are, you know, maybe necessarily politically correct. What's up?
This Rick and Morty would feed that because it's very dark.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious, but it's essentially, you know, Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
The movie. Okay, so it's kind of like that, except instead of traveling through time, they travel between universes, and there are all sorts of weird universes. And it's Morty's his grandson, and he's kind of like a Doc. What's the guy's name from Back to the Future? Doc. No, the Doc. You know, the crazy guy.
Yeah.
But he's perpetually wasted, and he was an alcoholic.
Oh God.
Absolutely cynical, and because he's the smartest mind in the universe, so in all universes. But it's good.
Sounds like fun. Yeah.
It is really good. They put a lot
YouTube?
of. I can give you a link.
Okay.
That you can watch. It's kimcartoons.me.
Kimcartoons.what?
.me. I think it's Kim.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kimcartoon.me. I don't know what the ME is.
Oh, okay.
And so you can go there and look up Rick and Morty, and they've got all the episodes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Actually, they've got looks like every cartoon ever done.
Oh, really? Okay. Huh.
Simpsons is on there, and it's really it's a neat website. And Bob's Burgers is on there. That's cool. What about Robot Chicken, which isn't really, because kind of a cartoon. Yeah, so I gotta watch some. Apparently, some of the South Parks are really good now, like really, really good.
Yeah, that's another one I haven't really paid much attention to. You know, yeah.
I really stepped up their game, and Peter Boghossian says that season 21, episode 3 is really is genius. He said, so I got to take a look and see what that's all about. Mm-hmm. That music in the background is going to keep on going until somebody shows. Okay. I don't care how annoying you are. In fact, the more annoying, the better.
It won't be me. I'm too shy. Oh, come on, give us a call. We seem to have good betting here. It takes a long time to check out.
Test this out. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah, phone us.
Oh, Kim Cartoon is really cool. Yeah, it's a good website. Oh, here comes
is that a phone call? Oh, was that a phone call?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've got the. Thank you for your. Yeah. That's in stereo. Oh, wow. Annoyed yet? We got all night. You can listen to this all night. Just some heavy breathing on the phone. So they're talking about predatory. This is a news item that has me concerned about predatory publishing. It's a growing problem.
Okay.
I have to say, they took a look at 19. Oh, there's now. Can you believe this? There are now approximately 8,000 suspected predatory journals that publish more than 400,000 articles a year, and these journals, you know, the articles that are published in them don't even meet minimum standards.
Yeah.
I've
known about this for a fair bit of time, like
terrible.
a long time.
What has to be is some kind of an active database, and where you can look it up and say, is this a real journal or is this one of these predatory ones?
Well, there are a couple of sites that rank journals.
What's that?
There are a couple of websites that rank journals.
Well, no, they rank them, but they don't list them anything as predatory, right? You can look up a journal's citation index.
Well, if they don't show up on the citation index or like the journal ranking thing, then that might be reason to question right then and there, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily true of all publications, but you know, that would be my first thing to do, would be to check and see if it's on the journal ranking system, and if not, dig deeper, right?
Yeah. But apparently it's, you know, people get suckered and they feel very embarrassed and ashamed.
Sure.
They're very clever. Let's see. So they charge from anywhere from $100 to $1,000.
Wow.
Where here, listen to it. An experiment by medical writer and researcher Pravin Lachette found that 16% of the predatory journal editors were willing to add him as an author, to scientific papers for a fee when he emailed them. What the hell?
Oh, wow. Huh.
What?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So the amount varied from 100 to 1,000. A few actually sent abstracts and said that he could choose to be an author. Like, what? I mean, if you put your name on a paper, you say you have contributed significantly to the work involved in the research being published. So it's a real thing. You don't just tag along.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see a lot of people doing this to pad their CVs.
Yeah, for sure, and get, you know, cited more and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Of
course, they're still going into journals. Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yeah, so you could still be, you know, they'll still say, well, those aren't very good journals, right?
Yeah.
But it looks more impressive. Right. It's terrible. And here comes another one, guys. Until you phone, I'm gonna keep going. Okay. I know that was one of the papers or the articles. I was talking about this woman, Yasmin Abdel-Magid, this smarmy Australian.
Oh, yeah.
Australia's answer to Linda Sarsour.
Yes.
Wow.
What was my comment on there too? Hang on here. I'm scrolling down to it. Yeah. We wouldn't be discussing gun laws if he was Muslim, and I responded to that. Perhaps we wouldn't be talking about gun laws. We might instead be discussing things like, I don't know, airport security, how to blockade off events so that vehicles can't go hurtling into crowds.
Oh, the call ended.
Pardon me?
We had a call, but it got dropped somehow.
Oh, crap.
Call again if you can. I don't know why it got dropped.
Huh.
Yeah. This woman, she's noted for saying she's claimed that Islam is the most feminist religion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So feminist that Muhammad married a 9-year-old, which is
and tell that to the women that are forced to, you know, wear the burqa and shit like that. Oh.
Yeah, she's okay. Let's get rid of that one. What else we got that we didn't talk about? That's the publishing one.
scrolling through too.
Oh, gotta do that one. Let's all go to the lobby. That's the classic.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Classic.
All go to the lobby.
There's terrorism and white privilege. We talked about that.
Delicious things to eat.
Did I miss a call again? Oh, shoot. Damn it. One more time. One more time. I'll watch.
I'm stepping away for like 1 more minute.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, okay. It's BJ. He says, it told me the person I'm trying to reach is currently unavailable. And then he said, nope, same message a second time.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Available. Why would it say it says I'm online?
What's crunchy, crispy,
Offline and online. What?
You're right.
Bizarre. I'll have to investigate that. Thanks, Beach.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'll investigate that.
Right again.
Have you got your phone with you?
My cell phone?
We got some. Yeah, okay, got through this time. Howdy.
Okay, through.
Yes, you did.
Hello, hello, this is Beach.
Hey,
Hi,
Beach.
Beach. How you doing?
Yeah, let's kill that.
It's a very bad connection.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're coming through on this end just fine, actually.
Yeah.
Going through nicely now as well.
Oh, good. Yeah, sometimes Skype takes a moment to settle down, and no, it's good to hear from you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us.
Nice to be on your show.
Yeah. So, and you've got a comment about any of the stories that we talked about tonight, or you just want to ask us something like what quiche I like to eat?
Just like to say, I haven't watched cartoons since Fred Flintstone.
Yeah, Fred, especially in the later years, Fred Flintstone got a little bit tiresome with that little Martian.
He was cute.
It was cute, but it was an obvious kind of ploy to make it interesting. Cartoons. Oh, I watch cartoons all the time. I've well, nowadays, of course, it's adult cartoons like Archer and Rick and Morty. But in the 90s, there were some really some pretty good cartoons that were out, and I shouldn't say really good, but good enough to watch. At least I held my interest. But then again, Dead Cat probably could hold my interest too. At that point, I've always been a big fan of Looney Tunes. I just love Looney Tunes. That was
I grew up with them.
Classic era.
Yeah, my dad used to love to watch Saturday morning cartoons, so of course I would, watch too, right? Yeah.
Pink Panther was another one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Pink Panther.
I don't quite have dark humor, so I'm not sure I'd like.
Yeah, Rick and Morty's pretty dark. Pretty dark, but Archer's good.
What about The Simpsons?
They really should have stopped by now.
No, I'm just wondering if Beach has ever watched them.
Oh yeah.
Watch the show.
I'm having trouble hearing Christine.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
Have you ever watched The Simpsons?
Headphones. Second here. Yeah, Christine was just wondering if you watched The Simpsons.
I have watched some, but then I lost interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just not a cartoon watcher.
Yeah.
I'm like Christine. I don't have TV. I only have the internet.
There's lots of good stuff on the internet. Yeah.
So much that I just thought, why am I paying for cable? And this was years ago. I dropped the cable.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I'd much rather watch lectures and documentaries.
Yeah, same.
You can't get on television too much.
Yeah.
At least not anything that I'm interested in.
Netflix has a pretty good set of documentaries.
There's a really great website called topdocumentaries.com. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, I could watch. I'm sure I could sit here for the rest of my life and watch that thing solidly and never, be bored. It's amazing the compilation they have there.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good site.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got to check out your phone, so they'll work
me
next
too.
week, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much.
Really well. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to hear your voice.
Yes.
First caller.
Same text.
Hey.
Yay. Well, I think we're going to shut down the podcast for this evening.
You go back to the show.
Sure. Yeah, I think we're going to shut it down. But thanks a lot.
Nice talking
Thanks
to
so much.
you. See you again in chat.
Yep.
Sounds great. Okay, bye-bye.
That worked really well.
Yeah, it did. She was having trouble hearing me, but I wasn't having trouble hearing her, though. So that's a bit...
Or you weren't.
I didn't have any trouble hearing her.
Yeah.
But she wasn't clearly hearing me, right?
Yeah. It worked really well. She was clear for me all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It does take Skype a moment to get everything calibrated. And so it's...
That makes sense.
Especially if it has to do with if you have speakers on as opposed to headphones.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it actively, so you don't get echo like I just did. You're not supposed to get echo, but
yeah,
what happens, it eliminates the feedback. I have no idea how they do it, but it keeps. I still use headphones because it's safer and it's clearer sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll shut her down and we're coming back next week with an interesting guest that I don't agree with.
Yeah. Well, we'll hear what she has to say, and it'll be fun. She's very, very sweet. She's a lovely person.
Yeah.
She's not afraid of an argument either. So, it'll be fun.
Sure. All right. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we'll be back in...
Oh, and happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Canadian Thanksgiving. I have no idea why we have our Canadian Thanksgiving.
I posted a video.
Yeah?
You should watch it. Like our Canadian Thanksgiving predates the American one by like 40 years. I didn't know that. And the tradition of turkey and all that was essentially, an American influence on, like culinary influence. But we don't have the same history that the Americans have with their Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think it also has something to do with Memorial Day.
Yes, yeah, that's why we have it in October instead of November.
That makes sense because you don't want to. They don't want to have more than one statutory holiday per month. That way, you get it one day a month, except I think for February.
No, now we've got Family Day.
That is not
here in Alberta and BC.
The Saskatchewan has it too, but it's not statutory.
Oh, I thought it was. But it's not national either.
No, it's not. That's why it's not statutory.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not through federal legislation. It's you can be told to work that day.
Okay. Well, typically Thanksgiving is a floater holiday too. Like you can go to work and then take it off another time in a lot of corporations.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I can see that. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Good night. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.